Folks, we are live with the Philadelphia Stage Combat Workshop. I have two amazing guests with us today. I got Fightmaster Ian Rose. I've got Fight Director John Bellomo. Also, for those who don't know, John was one of the original founders of the Philadelphia Stage Combat Workshop. So I wanted to make sure we got a chance to chat with them, kind of see where has the workshop come in the last 20 years and where can it eventually go from here. So yeah, I wanted to make sure we got a chance to talk to them. So for anybody who is tuning in live, you can post your questions down in the comments section. We can ask them live. If you have any questions after this live stream is over, it will be posted up on the Facebook page for anybody to see afterwards. If there is a question that isn't answered on the live stream that you want answered, you can always contact us at our email address. If you are excited about the workshop coming up, make sure that you are using some hashtags. I know it's dorky. Let's see if we can get it going. I don't know. So
Wordtober. Okay.
I blaming Tori for that one. Tori came up with that hashtag, and I was like, okay, done. Particularly because we had the social distance showdown starting October. We got the cheesesteak ending October. We kind of like Swordtober. It made sense. I don't know. So cool. So let's get started with some of these questions. And like I said, for anyone watching, if you got a question live, put it down in the comments. We can make sure it gets asked of these two amazing gentlemen. First question we're going to start off with, this one I think is probably particularly for John. What was the first workshop like?
It was, I mean, it was pretty awesome, I think. It was crazy. I can't believe it worked. You know, I had no idea what I was doing. You know, I really had no idea. I'd never done anything like that before. You know, to apply to get an SAFD sanctioned workshop, you have to have a budget and all of that stuff. And, you know, I didn't know how to put any of that together. So I, you know, asked John McFarland from Chicago. He helped me out so much with that. And, you know, it was just an amazing, I mean, it was just incredible that it all pulled off and people signed up. I was like really surprised that people decided to come and sign up for this, you know, new workshop. I was a new teacher. I had just become a certified teacher maybe a few years prior to starting the workshop. So, you know, I didn't have a following like I think some of the, you know, that some of the fight masters do, or some of the, you know, fight directors that do the whole, you know, workshop circuit. You know, people kind of follow them around, and I didn't have any of that. So I was, like I said, I was just really surprised that it all came together and nobody got hurt. And we didn't lose a ton of money on it. We actually made a little bit of money. You know, it was just, it was just awesome. I just remember thinking just how much fun it was and how amazing it was, the help that I got. And just the certified teachers and fight directors and fight masters that came, that were willing to come without a guarantee of getting paid. Just people showed up, and not just the students or participants, but, you know, faculty showed up. So it was great. It was really awesome. I don't even remember like what classes we had. I do remember that we had bright orange t-shirts. The original t-shirts were like these road worker orange t-shirts, because I wanted to, you know, all the t-shirts up until that point have been black. You know, every stage combat t-shirt I ever had up to that point was like black. You know, it was all black. And I was like, let's add some color. And, you know, I'm being from Philadelphia, I'm a Flyers fan. I was like, we're going to go with orange. So I got like this bright neon orange. I opened up the box and it was like I think I opened it up at my house when everybody showed up to give it out. And, we all laughed. And I think JP Scheidler was like, it looked like I had uranium in there because it just glowed, this huge orange glow. And
Oh my goodness.
but we knew where everybody was. Like when we went to the restaurant afterwards, like we knew where everybody was, right? Because we could spot each other a mile away. So, yeah, it was just a really great time. It was really like hanging out with friends. I didn't really feel like there was a lot of, other than the stress of getting it up. Once it got up, it was just, kind of hanging out with friends and having a good time and sword fighting and,
Yay.
Yeah, it was cool.
When, like, I'm not sure I particularly know this. When exactly did the handoff happen between John and Ian?
Well, Charles was always in there, right?
Exactly.
Charles was the on-site coordinator.
Yeah.
Charles Conwell. And the one year Johnny says, Johnny said, we all used to get together at Ralph's and have lunch and talk about what the workshop was going to be. And he said, we got to get together. And we came, and he said, Charles, Ian, I'm going to Italy, so I'm not going to be here. So you guys, you can do it or not, but I'm not going to be here. And was like, okay, sure. And then, we thought about it for a second, and then we were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So that next year it was Charles and I, and then Alex came in, and he became part of he was already in town, but he became part of the team like shortly thereafter.
Okay.
And we just, kept building from there. But, John was really, really cool with me when I first came to Philadelphia. Was very inviting. Somebody, some of these, some fight directors are fairly territorial, and John was just very welcoming and opening. So it was a first year I came and you said, I came in, I was hanging out in the back, and the melee starts, and John's like, get in there, go have some fun. And so I've always appreciated that.
Gotcha. So what are between the first year, between last year, like we got 20 years of memories basically with this workshop. What could be some favorite memories from some of these past workshops?
Well, for me, the first one is always like my most favorite memory for all those reasons that I said before. I had people sleeping in my house. Like there was not a floor that was free. Everybody had stayed in my place, and were sleeping bags, were bed mats. I think I had a spare bedroom that I think John McFarland slept in the spare bedroom, but everybody else was like on sleeping bags or on the sofa in my house. And I just, that's always going to be my number one memory of the workshop. Another good one was when we brought in my cousin Tony, who does professional wrestling, and he used me as the dummy to do some demonstrating. And that just, I just remember him punching me in the face and me just cracking up, and everybody like looking out at the crowd and being like, because in stage combat, we don't do contact punches to the face, but they do in professional wrestling. So I just remember everybody's face like being in shock and me just cracking up as he's, punching me in the face. It was, that's a pretty good memory.
Yeah. I can highlight my favorite, but I think John will agree with this. Some of my favorite memories of the workshop are you just going from class to class, and you just looking at people learning and sharing and having fun and getting jazzed about this stuff and doing good work. That's the best, right? That's it. That's the reward.
Yeah.
Super cool. But there was a year, years ago, JP Fournier, who's Maître d'Armes of Fight Directors Canada, had a sword of Paddy Crane's that he was supposed to give to Eric Fredrickson, and
I remember that year.
Get this to Eric, and we tried to have him at the workshop a couple of times, and it just didn't work out. And then finally, we got him to Philadelphia, and so we got Eric to talk about Patty, and Patty was kind of a father figure to Eric. So he talked about Patty, and then and he sort of turns back to me, and then I pull out the sword from behind the chair and then present it to him. And that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house that year. I remember that year. Oof.
I have a great picture of Ian and JP Fournier carrying my son Enzo in a car seat, and they each, it's so cute. It's like the cutest picture. These two fight guys, and they got, Enzo, they each have, it's like one of those car seats that has the handle that comes up over the top, and they're each like holding one side of the car handle, and they're like walking Enzo in between them. It's a great picture. I love that picture.
Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah.
Nice.
That shot of Enzo fighting Brimmer.
Yep. Or is that Enzo, or is that Alex's boys?
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry.
Alex's boys.
I've been misremembering that.
Yeah. I think that's
Thomas.
Yeah, I think it's Thomas. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you talked a little bit about going from kind of class to class, seeing the exchange of information, seeing people learning. It brings up a lot of like why this training is kind of important. Not just for fight directors in particular, but for anybody, for actors, for directors, for stage managers, like, and a lot of the times I think the training ends up getting focused a little bit on specifically the college classes, but this kind of training is important for everybody. So why are regional workshops? Why do you two think regional workshops are important for this kind of training?
Well, training is important, right? And we have the 8 disciplines in the SAFD that we normally teach, and they're incredibly important. It's good to have. You can't just go to a weekend workshop and learn about stage comp. I mean, you learn a little bit about it, but you need a general course of study in single sword and rapier and dagger and long sword, sword and shield, whatever it is, all the main weapons in order to truly take it on. However, the world is not limited to those 8 weapons, and we do shows that require all kinds of things, right? So you have to have an adaptability, and that's what you get at the regional workshops. Is generally the best thing is that it gives you a different palette. I mean, there are different things out there than just the normal 8, and you need to be able to adapt to all sorts of different things in this crazy business. So it gives you flexibility. That's the word I guess I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ian, and I think that it does. I think the regional workshop has stuff that you're going to come across in the professional world, right? Where at least I haven't been to a national workshop in probably 15, 20 years. So it's been a while. But I felt like the national workshop is, you go and you study and you're working towards the test, right? And passing your SPT or your certified teacher test but the regional workshops are where you're going to get somebody who's a professional fight director comes in and is like, hey, I worked on this show and we use these weapons and it was cool, so let me teach a class on this stuff. Or somebody who's been doing some historical stuff that comes in and goes, hey, look what I've been learning and let me teach a class in that. So it's more of what I think people are going to come across as, actor combatants in the professional world, more so than, learning the moves or a scene to take the test. I look at it as the regional workshops are a little more, it's kind of like, I don't want to say, I was going to say more practical, but I don't mean that in like a bad way, that the national isn't practical, but it's like going to school and then like having an internship, like the internship is is preparing you for the workforce. And I think the regional workshops is where you're gonna take what you learned when you're either in a college class or getting the SPT test, and you're gonna learn how to adapt it to choreography in a production or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, we got some comment from one of our viewers. We have a David Brimmer watching, and he actually kind of corrected and said, yeah, correct, it was Thomas, and he was using his special powers to become the Invisible Boy.
And I think that was during Chuck's like Peter Pan versus Hook class, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think for some reason I have an image of Brimmer with a hook in his hand. But I don't know if that's true.
I think they were using the foam swords.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I vaguely remember that too, and for some reason my brain is picturing foam swords as well. Though with David, you never know. Like there's this awesome picture floating around of him with one of the I think of either Neil or Fiocchi had like a giant claymore. So yeah, you never know. You never know. So coming a little bit away from the serious talk, when did the cheesesteak lunch come into play, and why did that become a tradition? Because as a lot of folks who come to the workshop know, that's why the Philly workshop is nicknamed the cheesesteak. So when did that come into play?
From the get-go, it was like from the very first workshop, we organized cheesesteaks to be delivered and eaten. And I think I think I might be wrong, but I feel like, there weren't that many regional workshops. There weren't that many when I started the Philadelphia workshop. There was the Sling, there was the Chicago Winter Wonderland, and there was the Boyle. And I don't know when a lot of the other ones came, but I do remember thinking the Winter Wonderland and the Boyle, had the Chicago pizza was part of the Winter Wonderland. Last time I was there, I don't know if they still did that, but
I don't think so.
one of the early ones, I remember, deep dish pizza was delivered, and the Boyle has the Boyle. So I was like, all right, what are we gonna do? What's gonna make us, what does Philadelphia have? And of course, it's the cheesesteak, and it just made sense, and it really worked because it was delivered, so we can actually have like a nice lunch break and relax and socialize. And then people, I think Ian started having, I don't think we had like a weapons day early on. I think that came later, where people brought, Lewis and some other people came to sell weapons, and Chuck would sell his old books or old swords that he was clearing out of his armory or things like that. But it was just nice to have the food delivered, and we could all kind of chill out.
Yeah. I remember distinctly, I started coming in like 2007 or so, and somewhere in those first couple of years, it started to become a tradition that I would come up to Charles's table at least once a year and get at least one book.
Yeah,
and I started getting used to Terry, I got a lot of new books this year. I'm like, God damn it, Charles. I think that's how I got my copy of Patty's biography, the More Champagne Darling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. A couple of more, some interesting comments from Brimmer coming in with the Peter Pan hook.
Oh, that was Chuck's son. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Chuck's son.
It's kind of cool to see all these kids, our kids come into the workshops. And, I remember going to the Boyle and seeing, Jake and
Darby?
Darby, yes, thank you. Jake and Darby on the swing in their backyard. And, at that point I was single and, no kids or anything like that. And I always thought, wow, that's going to be so cool. And now, our kids are, mine and Alex's kids and Chuck's kids are, running around the workshop and doing all that stuff. It's great to see the generations, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're old enough that they can take the workshop now.
Yeah, I don't know if Enzo is. Maybe Thomas is, but I
Where
think
Thomas is, right?
Yeah.
yeah, Thomas is. I think Enzo could probably use a couple years before we sign him up. But
Remember when Enzo was little? That's good. No, I'm starting to feel. Got one more question. I think that's a question from David. Are we having a virtual cheesesteak this year?
Oh, he's asking, are we having virtual cheesesteaks? The
So
sandwiches.
a thought that I've been trying to figure out how to do is how to send instructions out to people to make your cheesesteaks at home if you would like to, in like the traditional Philly way. Particularly because if anyone from Edmonton or Calgary or Alberta, that area, is watching, this is a steak sandwich, not what y'all call a steak sandwich. Because up there, steak sandwich is just a piece of steak on a piece of bread.
Which is awesome.
But that's not a sandwich. Anyways, so I do have another question from a student. How has this workshop evolved over the years? What are some of the challenges that we've faced over the years? So thank you, Kristen, for that awesome question. So how do you two, since you two have seen the workshop evolve over the last bunch of years, how do you feel like it's evolved, and what are some of the challenges that have come up over the last bunch of years?
well, I think it's evolved to be more helpful to the up and coming certified teachers and instructors and things like that. That was always kind of my goal. Like at the beginning, I wanted to make sure that there was always new certified teachers at the Philadelphia workshop, because I kept on, as a new certified teacher myself when I started this, I kept on applying to workshops and not getting accepted. And I was like, well, and to me, it seemed like it was a lot of the same people. They were going with their tried and true teachers who've been doing it for a while and things like that. And I was like, but I want to teach, I want to do it. So I started the Philadelphia Stage Combat Workshop, and I wanted to always include, make sure that we included new teachers, people from the most recent class. And I think from that, it evolved to, helping people make it to that level where we have people assist, and the interns are now, I think the early years, the interns were just anybody who could help us. Where now it's like, the interns are probably going to be the certified teachers in the next class, so it's really, I think the level of, teaching and assistance and stuff like that has really gone up. And the fact that it's helping people make it to the next level, it's giving new teachers an opportunity to teach and be a part of the workshop. So I think that's one really good evolution of it.
When John asked me to help him out, like, he was like, first time he asked me to help him, he said, I don't have time to do the t-shirts. Can you do the t-shirts? And so I did the t-shirts, right? And so he just let me take on little bits, and then I took on more and more as I could, which I really appreciated. And I just noticed the way John had just an easy way and of running the workshop, and I just wanted to always try and hold on to that, just that friendly family style workshop. So we're not, I went out to Winter Wonderland one year, and I went 2 days ahead of time to see how they did things, and then I came back and I said, we can do all these things, but we don't need to, and we don't have to, and they're like a whole machine, and that's not us, right? And we're not gonna, if we do it, we won't have fun. So let's just keep doing what we're doing and have fun. And we just try and rotate the instructors every year, so everybody, so we get more fresh blood into the workshop, like John was talking about. And I tried to, I've always tried to keep John's original intentions alive in the workshop.
Okay, Cool.
I think a big challenge is the fact that there's so many more workshops now. Like I
Right.
feel like there's a workshop almost every weekend, right?
Yep.
And I think, you know, that's been a huge challenge is that, you know, there's a lot of workshops, there's a lot of regional workshops, and you know, that's trying to get people to come to them has been challenging. And, you know, but we always do. We always have, there's always like that last minute, like, oh, we're not going to have enough people. And then people show up. So it's, you know,
Yeah.
We've been really lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What melee do you think y'all that comes to mind probably the most? Like what melee probably sticks out in your head the most? Or what might be some favorite memories from different melees?
I block them out as soon as they're over. I hate the melees. That's the most stressful part of the work-shop for me.
Wasn't that your idea?
No, I don't think it was. I don't know where that came up. I don't think it was my idea. It makes me so nervous. Like if you notice, like I leave when the melee happen because I'm like, this is where we're gonna get sued, right? Like it just stresses me out. So whenever it comes up, like, what do we want to do for the melee? I'm like, whatever you guys want. I'm leaving for the melee. I'm never. And I know everybody loves them. Everybody loves them. And I know, you know, Janine, I've seen you there at the workshop and loving them, and everybody thinks they're amazing. And it's what's really good though is that I think we could only pull those off at a workshop, right? Like I wouldn't, because people take care of each other. What's really great is that, you know, the reason why we haven't had any injuries or we haven't been sued is because people take care of each other, right? Like, they really, really do take care of one another. And we could kind of go like, okay, you guys figure that out. And it's going to get figured out and people are going to be safe and take care of one another, you know? So, but it really does stress me out. Like those first couple of years, I was like, oh my God, I can't, this is where we get shut down. This is the last year we're doing the melee and then everybody loves it. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Little comment from Jacqueline Holloway.
Yeah. Pirates versus Raptors.
I think somebody has suggested either Pirates versus Raptors or Ninjas versus Pirates or Cavemen versus something. Somebody's suggested something like that every year. So
I wish I had the list to read off right now.
Yeah, like, and we've had a freaking decent amount of freaking melees.
I think the best one that I've seen though has been the Three Musketeers one.
I was just good. Thank you, John.
That was a really, really good one. Like that one was really awesome. And
that's the one I think of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I think that's my favorite one.
It was a lot of. It was the one I had the most fun in. I think I was running that one, and it was just a blast, and everybody who was there like really embraced it, and we had the great hall, and we were using all the side
stairs
and everything, and
it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was,
for anybody who didn't get a chance to watch it last week, I believe it was last Tuesday, you can go back into the live streams on our Facebook page and actually tune in and see the premiere of last year's Melee video, as well as some videos from previous years. We included the Musketeer Melee in that live stream. But for those who didn't see last year's Melee, I heard that these two gentlemen had not seen last year's Melee yet. So we're going to take a quick shift over to, oh, come on. That is, all right. We're going to take a quick shift over to looking at last year's Melee. So here we go.
Yeah, the one with the elephant was pretty cool. Wasn't that like Hannibal?
I think that was Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
And I particularly remember that because I got to ride one of the elephants.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had Carrie Brewer that year.
My cousin Westmoreland,
No. No, my therapist. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do lots for our country. And if we live, fewer men will bravely share lives. God will, I pray thee, do not wish for one more. I am not covetous of gold. Carry not who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not, yet may my burdens bear. Such outward things will not in my house. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offended soul alive. No, faith, my cause, wish not one man from England. God's peace. I would not lose so great an honor as for one man more who would share from me the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish for one more. Rather, proclaim it, Westmoreland, throughout my oath, that he that hath no stomach to it, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company, that bears fellowship to die with us. This day is known as the Feast of Christian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named and rouse him at the name of Christian. We refuse. We happily refuse. Ye band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now then, shall keep themselves accursed that they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while any speak that fought with us on St. Crispin's Day! So that was our 20th anniversary year melee. Pretty sure organized by Mr. Ian Rose over here.
I was responsible for this. Or parts of it. Parts of it. We always ask whoever's there's somebody who runs it, and then who takes sort of lead on it, and then there's and then all of the invited instructors are asked to choreograph. So many think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who did the killing of the kids in the baggage train.
I want
to say it was Brimmer, but I don't think he was there.
You know, he was there.
Oh,
he was there, because if you go back and watch the video, the way I had to edit it, there was one clip during the baggage train section, because it was in that corner where there's nobody sitting in the window seat. And then once everyone's dead, it shifts to a different shot that we got, and all of a sudden Brimmer's there. So in my mind, I like to think like maybe Brimmer in that shot is like the specter of death because he brought death on the baggage train.
I'm sure you take that as a compliment.
Oh, we got an awesome comment from one of our friends up north. We got a couple of comments from some of our friends up north. Nicholas Odson.
Oh, Nick.
Yup, love you, Nick. Nick's first time I ever met Nick was actually one of the first couple of cheesesteaks I ever came to. And then we also got Janine up there commenting on what her favorite one of her favorite cheesesteaks was. Another student talking about how important the melees were, because Kristen is actually one of my students. Kristen hasn't come to the cheesesteak yet, but watching some of the videos of prior melees and how engaging and crazy it is, like she's definitely thinking of coming once we can get going in person in future years. Jax has been commenting. Jacqueline Holloway wanting to say hi.
Hey, Jax.
And I think that's it with comments that we've gotten so far. So why don't we slowly kind of wrap things up a little bit? Doug Thomas jumping in here. Hi, Doug. We miss you.
Me too.
One of my favorite parts of that melee year, the Musketeer year y'all were talking about, is the fact that Doug Thomas came in full Cardinals Guard regalia on the freaking Broad Street line, got to UArts, and the melee ended with all of the Musketeers kind of circling around him at the one end of the Grand Hall, and Brimmer is standing on the thing up above him and behind him, and Brimmer's like, well, fine, I guess I'll take care of it, takes his shillelagh and bops him on the head, and that's what ended that melee. So, Doug, we miss you.
Yeah.
So why don't we finish up by just chatting? Like, what are some of the things that you two are up to right now in the time of COVID? What's going on for you two?
Well, I'm teaching and I'm directing. And last month I was in a reading of Much Ado About Nothing with the Pittsburgh Public Theater. So, keeping busy. I'm directing the Virtual Realms, She Kills Monsters Virtual Realms. That is, written specifically to be done online. So I'm trying to figure out, how to choreograph a sword fights over Zoom and over the internet, which is, I think we've come up with some cool ideas and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But, I'm one of the lucky ones where I have a full-time teaching job, and my classes are fairly full, and I'm doing the stuff and trying to stay safe in a different way. Instead of 6 inches, it's 6 feet. So,
Yeah. Let us know when the Virtual Realms thing is happening. There was a community theater in South Jersey that did that, and I got a chance to see a bit of what they did. Apparently, for those who don't know, the script is essentially, if what I understand is the author took the high school version of the original script and just kind of modified it to be able to be performed in a virtual setting. So I'd be curious to see what other folks do with that script. So it'd be cool to see what you do.
Yeah, we're doing some really cool stuff. We're working with Diecast, which is an organization in Philadelphia as a theater company, online theater company. So we're working with them, and they're helping us figure out how to use some of these new platforms that, you know, I have no idea how to use. So it's been really cool. What's really been good is that me and the students we're all on the same playing field. Actually, they're probably more above because they know all this social media stuff and they know all this, you know, TikTok and Zoom and things like that. So they're teaching me a few things about all this. So it's really, you know, I think it can be a drag. We could look at it and say like, yeah, this really sucks. Or, you know, we can say, yeah, it sucks, but there's still cool stuff we can do. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do and instill with my students. So
Cool.
that's what I'm up to. How about you, Ian? What are you doing?
Oh, you know what? At Temple, I'm online, teaching online, and I'm still going in, of course, and doing it there. But I've been Sam Egley and Humble Warrior started having me teach for them online footwork classes to start back in April, and then I had to cancel my classes, my private classes, and then, you know, when I thought about bringing them back, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do them online and, you know, partner with Sam on this, and it's been great. So I just wrapped up Small Sword because the hours count, right? So they count 2 for 1. You every hour. Every 2 hours online counts as a single hour, and you can count up to 10 of those for certification. So it's valid. So we just finished 20 hours in Small Sword, and now this coming Monday we're starting Rapier and Dagger. I'm also working on a really cool project with Curio Theater here in town. They're doing a story of St. George, the Joseph de Boulogne de Saint George, who was the supposedly the best fencer of the late 18th century, who was also the son of a slave and a French noble. And so he was a concert violinist and composer and a brilliant man. And it's an interesting life story. And we're doing it. It's going to be very interesting. It's a theatrical piece, but there are segments. The segments I'm working on are going to have to be shot and then will be shown in the theater. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
To wrap us up a little bit, just kind of talking about what this year for the cheesesteak has. We are doing a virtual workshop for those who are tuning in. We are doing virtual. That's kind of why we're doing some of these live streams, get the word out, talking about what previous years have been like, why this next year is this in 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. Come this Saturday, it'll be 2 weeks until the workshop. Why it's important to kind of continue this training, even in a virtual setting. We're getting a lot of work done. And what has it been like for as a teacher, or what do you feel like has been the thing that students have taken away in a virtual setting? And this could be for either one of you, because I know you both teaching virtually right now?
Yeah, I'm all online. Acting, directing classes. In the spring, I'll be doing movement class online. So
yeah.
Yeah.
What has it been like, or like what do you feel like students are able to take away from learning this kind of material in a virtual setting?
If I can start, so I'm teaching unarmed right now at Temple. That's hard, right? We're into the contact stuff, and there's just can't do it. But they can. That doesn't mean I can't teach it, and they can't take it on mentally, even though they can't physically touch each other. You know. So that's what that is. Working with swords online is actually easier. And And of course, H. Russ Brown, certified instructor or teacher and fight director with the SAFD, came up with the idea of the ladder, what I call the ladder buddy now, which is you have a ladder and then you strap a sword or something. He was doing it for knife, so he strapped an arm with a knife on it. And then David Woolley sort of took that further and added the sword. I've gone a little bit further with it, in that I'm using a thing that's longer than a sword, because with a human, you have the extension of the arm as well. And with the ladder, if it's just a sword, it's not quite long enough to get the technique, but you can still work a lot of technique with that ladder buddy. I mean, it just, it's amazing the specificity of work you can get with your parries and all the prise de fer, the binds, all of that stuff. It's actually kind of extraordinary how much work you can still do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing really any stage combat stuff right now, other than the choreography in the show. But I think, there's a lot of stuff that actors and directors that we have to work on our own outside of a rehearsal hall. And I think that I'm using this as an opportunity to explore that, so that the students are, they're going to be learning how to work on a character or direct a play or, anything in the theater on their own. And like I said, what does an actor do when they're not acting in a play? They still have to develop their craft, right? If a director isn't directing a play, what do? We have to read scripts and analyze scripts and do stuff. For movement, for stage combat, there's still physical things that we need to do on our own. We can't always be in a class. We can't always be in a play, in a production. So how do we develop our craft without other people on our own? So I'm kind of looking at it as an opportunity to explore that and finding ways for my students to, keep growing. And the feedback that I'm getting so far is that it's working. So I think it's possible. I think it's, in the beginning, everybody was like, "Oh, you can't do theater online. We can't learn online." But I don't think that's true. I think we're fine. It's not what we are used to. Maybe it's not what we want, but it's what we have right now, and we could still make it work. So I kind of think it's exciting. It's kind of cool to figure this stuff out, to look at it in a new way and have to figure it out. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've in the Arcadia classes I've been teaching, I've been finding it a lot of fun getting a chance to kind of delve into the weeds with certain concepts that normally we would touch on your feet in-person classes, but we can really kind of get into the weeds with when you're virtual. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So before we say goodbye, I wanted to just show folks the schedule for this year has been published. And for those who are possibly interested, speaking of virtual training opportunities, this is actually a PDF that if you go to the registration page of our website, and by the way, register as early as you can for first dibs on any of these classes. Class signups will be live literally either tonight or tomorrow, I believe. But if you're not Eastern time zone, we've got a PDF down here where you can download the entire schedule, and it's got a breakdown of when the different periods are in different time zones. It's got lots of information about each of the classes, who's teaching them, what period, what kind of weapon discipline it is for that class, what kind of equipment you will probably need for that class. If you don't want to read through this just right now, you can get a quick breakdown on our Facebook page. This is day 1. And then we go to day 2. So we got a lot of stuff going on this year, and I am super excited for a lot of our guest instructors this year: Damon Stith, Brandy Liard, Michelle Jia, Kevin McCurdy, Loraldo. I'm just psyched for the folks that we have this year. So yeah, to wrap it up, thank you two so much for joining us today. We got a lot of really interesting questions answered. A lot of things talked about, a lot of glimpses at where this workshop has come, and hopefully where eventually it'll go. Do you guys want to say anything else before we wrap up, or say?
Yeah, no, just thanks for doing this. And I just thinking about it and talking about it just makes me really appreciate John asking me to come on board and work with the Philly workshop and work. Otherwise, I would not have been a part of this, and it's been really amazing. And John, you've been great to me. Thank you very much for all your support and friendship.
Well, thanks, Ian. I really appreciate that. And I'm just glad it all worked out. And it's really great. I'm so happy that it's continued on, and that, way back when I was saying that I was going to Italy, that you guys kept it going. And it's just great to see. And, Terry, I thank you for setting this up and for all the work you do for the workshop. I think nobody knows your pain more than me and Ian. So, you do a great job with it. And really, again, thank you for setting it up. This interview today. It's been great.
You too. I would not get the camera flipped. I would not be here if it weren't for this stinker in the middle right here. Ian has been an amazing mentor of mine since 2005.
Wow.
I know, it's been a while, right? And John, I think I probably met you that first year that I came to the cheesesteak in 2007. So I've learned so much from both of you. So thank you so much for everything you've put into this workshop. I would not have had anything to carry on if you two hadn't built such a strong base. So thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
No, thank you. Anyway. Cool. So for folks watching, we still got it. Wow. I think this has probably been the one live stream that we've done so far where we've had consistently the most folks watching the whole time, 8, 9, 10 people. So for everyone who's been watching, everyone who likes, comment, thank you so much. If you are catching us at the tail end and you have any questions that didn't get asked during this live stream, you can, that is not the one I wanted. You can always email us at philscw@gmail.com. Make sure you go to the website and register to be a student this year to take advantage of class signups first. If money is a question mark, we do have our Pay It Forward waitlist that you can sign up for. If money is not as much of a question mark, you feel a little bit more comfortable, we encourage you to, when you register, donate an extra $1, an extra $5, because that money is going to go towards the tuition for somebody else. The best way we can get through this is to work together and support each other in this training and making sure that we all get through this. So keep an eye on the Facebook page. Keep an eye on the website. If you have any questions, shoot it over to the email. And let's get this hashtag going, folks. All right?
October.
Anyways, thank y'all again so much. And everybody, thank y'all for watching. All right. Catch y'all later. And for those who are watching right now, we are doing another live stream today. This evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be talking with Jacqueline Holloway. All right, so make sure you tune in for that. Thanks, everybody.